like to call the meeting to order. I'll stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Deputy Clerk, please call the roll.
Yes. Trustee Khan?
Here.
Trustee Minks? Here. Trustee Shiba? Here. Trustee Travis?
Here.
Trustee White?
Here.
Mayor Wickow?
Here.
And Clerk Scanlon is gone with notice, and Trustee Thill is also gone with notice.
Yes, okay, thank you. Can I have an approval of the meeting of our regular minutes from November 12th?
I'll make a motion to approve the regular meeting minutes of November 12th, 2025.
Second.
Motion made by Trustee Mink, seconded by Trustee Khan. All in favor? Or, sorry, anybody have questions? Sorry, I should have said that. No? Are we still in favor? Yes. All right, good. Special reports. I'm going to turn this over to Rick Dabrowski, our fire inspection, for Fire Prevention Week poster contest winner announcements.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for giving us some time tonight at your busy meeting. So we've been doing the poster contest for approximately like 35 years on an annual basis. And we follow up Fire Prevention Month or Fire Prevention Week with the poster contest. And what this is all the public schools and all the private schools in town are invited to participate. And what we do is we have a list of 14 fire prevention sayings or themes that we put on there, and the kids can draw a picture of any of those themes. And what we really like about it is there's 14 of them, and most of the pictures that were done have at least 2 or 3 of the themes in them. So we, after we do the public education with the kindergartners, we follow up with this, and what it does is it keeps kids thinking about this. So from kindergarten on, at least once a year, they get, some type of follow-up with the fire prevention stuff. So, and what we do is the poster contest is sponsored by the Firefighters Association, and they pick the winners themselves. And at this point in time, we have 9 winners, kindergarten through 8th grade. And I think the best thing to do right now is just to start announcing them. So for the kindergarten poster, it goes to a student from MCC Academy, Harmaine Raymond. Come on over here. Come on up front. They don't bite, trust me. There you go. Good job. All right.
Rick, are we going to ask the kids to line up for the picture?
Hey, before you go,
Take a group picture.
You get to
We'll
be
have you
first
stand
in
up in
line.
front, okay? You get to
get to
be the
be
leader. Look at
first,
that.
yeah.
Very good. The first grade winner is also from MCC Academy, and it's Ayub Rafiq. And I just wanted to point out, too, Principal Ahmed from MCC Academy is here to support her students.
Hello.
All right. And the second grade class is Carl Maries from Hines Elementary, and he couldn't make it tonight. He's traveling with the family for Thanksgiving, but his I don't know if his father is his father is here tonight to accept the award. How about that? I thought you were a little tall, but.
You got to stand with the kids now. You have to stand with the kids.
Our third grade winner is from MCC Academy, and it's Suleiman Puthawala. And the fourth grade winner is from Melzer Elementary, and it's Rahiba Farhan. And we've had a tradition of having each grade level, and then we also choose one overall one, and it kind of entails what we thought was, had the best themes in there and the way it was drawn and stuff like that. So our fifth grader is the overall winner and fifth grade from Edison Elementary, Juliana Baylock.
Wow, very
Great.
creative.
Our sixth grade winner is from Jerusalem Lutheran, and Ariel Shiap. Our seventh grade winner is Aliana Barami from Jerusalem Lutheran also. And Principal Kim from Jerusalem Lutheran is here to support his students, wherever he is. Anyhow, all right. And then our eighth grade winner is Miriam Qureshi from MCC Academy. And Principal Ahmed's going to carry the load there for that. So anyhow, so that concludes the announcing of the winners. And once again, I'd like to thank the board for the time here. This is always a special occasion for all of us, and we appreciate it.
Thank you,
So-
and thanks to the kids for their creative, wonderful drawings. We'll take a picture.
All right, guys, come on down for a picture with the kids. Or do we have enough time? All right.
Oh,
We're going to do one quick picture with the firefighters. And then we'll get out of here.
great job, kids.
There you go. Kids in the front. All right, thank you very much. The kids, I have your posters. Don't leave without them, please. And we have some bags for you, too, to carry your stuff home. Thank you.
Thanks to
Yep.
everybody. We're gonna pause for a minute, and the families can grab your stuff, and you can leave now. Would be a good time, unless you want to stay through this whole long meeting. If not, this is a good time to pretend you have to go cook dinner. Oh, we're out of speaker forms.
Can I see you with your artwork? Are you sending them to the printer? The printer in the big printer? Yes. Can I see it?
They're good. All right, we're almost through. All right, well, Chuck, are you ready to move on? We're going to do the public hearing? Or do you want me to wait a moment? Okay. And we are getting some more speaker forms, so they'll be down here shortly. I will drink some water. Good to go? Okay. Public hearings. We are opening a public hearing for the 2025 budget for the Village of Morton Grove and the Morton Grove Public Library. Trustees, does anyone have any comments or questions on this? Hearing none, I need a motion to close the public hearing.
I'll make the motion to close the public hearing.
Second.
Motion made by trustee Travis, seconded by trustee Minks. All in favor? Or
Aye.
do we need a, that's good? Okay, all right.
Or no, we do need a roll call to close it, so.
Roll call?
Yep.
Oh,
Trustee Khan?
Aye.
Trustee Minks?
Aye.
Trustee Sheba?
Aye.
Trustee Travis?
Aye.
Trustee White?
Aye.
okay. Should I start the residents' comments or wait for the forms? We have a lot, so we'll have plenty of time for people to fill them out in the interim.
Would you like me to speak to kind of the guidance you wanted to provide for comment tonight?
Sure,
before that? Okay,
you
so,
go ahead.
And as the mayor said, we are getting more forms. The forms aren't always necessary, so obviously if you want to speak before we have the forms, it's not a problem. There are, we believe, several people here to discuss immigration, and as you may know, it is listed as an item on our agenda, so if you're looking to speak regarding immigration enforcement activities, this would be the time to speak, and there would also be general comments at the end of the meeting, so that would be for anything else, but if someone is here to speak on that item, now would be the time that you'd be able to speak on immigration-related issues. With that, people don't need a comment form. I think we'll have them in a little bit, but
Okay.
we'll just take copious notes to
We'll
make
go
sure we
through
track
this.
everyone.
I'll ask at the end if anyone wants to speak, so form or not. I don't know if some of you were here last time. We have 4 minutes. We ask that if you're going to repeat something that somebody's already said, just, in respect of time, just say, I agree with that person, and maybe save the time if you want. I'm also going to queue up people so that we keep the line kind of moving. And with the first one, this person, Donna Schiller, you circled both agenda and non-agenda. So you can talk on one, so I don't know if you want to do this one, the second after? Okay, I'll put you in the other pile.
I know, I don't know why she.
Thank you. Okay, so let's start with, I'm going to call up Rick Incorvati, and then we'll have Jenny Marin and Karina Marin after.
So are we doing this after the president's report, stuff like that?
It's here. Yeah, that's after.
All set to it? Okay.
So we're here.
So thank you, President Whitco, the village board members, and everyone taking the time to be part of this important process. My name is Rick Incorvati. I serve as a deacon at St. James Episcopal Cathedral in Chicago, and I've lived in Morton Grove for just over 4 years. I rise to speak in support of this proposed policy, a policy that upholds the kind of community that the Illinois Trust Act is intended to promote, and that more importantly affirms the dignity of a good many people who live and work in this community, people who have been mischaracterized and who are at daily risk of being detained and taken away from their homes, their jobs, and their families. For me, as for others, it's been a hard thing to watch all the videos of ICE operations circulating on social media. But when we come across events like these happening over on Waukegan, or at a community deli, or down the road at Menards, it's troubling on multiple levels. When it happens in Morton Grove, it's as if I'm not only seeing an incident that uproots a person's life, separates family members, and instills fear in others who might be next, I'm also feeling the burden of a personal accountability. This is happening here. This is where we live. And I know while there's precious little that we can do to stop the activity, I can't help but feeling that doing nothing at all when the events are blocks from my home is a form of acquiescing. And if we acquiesce quietly, we're actually letting these trouble incidents define our community values for us. For that reason, I was grateful to see this item on the agenda for tonight's meeting, and speaking in favor of it is one small thing I can do to cast my lot for a different kind of community, to support an effort that would say to friends and neighbors that we shouldn't be defined by the events that we've seen too much as of late, and that we are likely to continue to see for some time. I also want to say that I'm fully aware of the concerns that folks in our community have about the appearance of protecting illegal immigration and about the need for there to be consequences for practices that step outside the law. I actually suspect there's more agreement on some of these issues than we're often encouraged to believe. Laws need to be supported by consequences. But I think that many of us in this room are troubled by the way that border security has played a role in the demeaning and degradation of vulnerable groups of people in this country. When my spouse and I moved here 4 years ago, we came from Springfield, Ohio, a place where Haitian immigrants were accused of eating cats and dogs of the people who have been living there for years. And I actually just spoke to a friend from Springfield this afternoon over at Cafe 44. Sorry if you were at the table next to me hearing an irritating phone call. And I asked how he was doing. He's a member of a vulnerable community. He said, I feel as if I'm being compressed, as if the walls are closing in around me. And he was wondering when it would all stop. I'm guessing that many immigrants in our Chicago communities and here in Morton Grove, people who have been misrepresented as drug dealers, murderers, rapists, and gang members, feel much the same way. And on their behalf, I support the adoption of the proposed measures in our home. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Jenny, Marin?
Good evening. My name is Jenny Marin, and I have been a resident of Morton Grove for the past 10 years. I want to take this time to first and foremost thank the members of this council for listening and responding to community members who came together at the last board meeting to express their concerns over immigration enforcement activities in Morton Grove. The updated website and items to be presented on this board agenda are encouraging steps that will ensure all our community members feel welcome here. With that said, I want to highlight the importance that this be the start of an ongoing conversation. Lots of us still have many questions, some of which we may or may not get answers to tonight, and others have new ideas about how to best build a stronger community. While enforcement activity has slowed, many of us have seen the threats being made for 4 times the amount of immigration enforcement officers to be sent back into our neighborhoods come March. Prior to this and even after, I hope that you all continue to engage in active conversations with residents and amend or change village responses as needed. With that being said, there are some specific asks I have for tonight. 1, the current flyer and from what I can see on the agenda, highlight that the village will uphold the Trust Act and the signage seems to pay part of the same. In addition to this flyer and signage, I would like to request that this council amend the village code to add a resolution that specifically prohibits any federal immigration operations on village-owned property unless there is a valid judicial warrant present. It is important that these are outlined in writing in our own local ordinances so that there is no room for question and it is formalized in our code. 2, I would like to hear more details about when these signs are expected to go up and where residents can find information about the places where they will be present. For example, what is village property and what is not? 3, similar to the need for a resolution prohibiting immigration enforcement on village property, what is the outlined response the village will take if illegal immigration enforcement is taking place on village property? I request these details also be formalized in a written manner and would like to know when and how they will be shared. 4, please share more information about how all staff will be required to follow the Trust Act. Will this be written into staff contracts? Does this extend to not sharing information and/or databases? How will this be implemented, and is there a projected deadline for when this will happen? While I'm sure there's still more work you are all tackling, and I appreciate the time you are taking to seriously work through this with us, I want to end by sharing another sobering reality. Many of the people who are most impacted by immigration enforcement are not present here, and some have been advised, even by their own lawyers, not to make any public statements about immigration enforcement. It is heartbreaking to hear and know that our neighbors do not feel safe coming to their own village board to request help or share their ideas. This work matters because so many people are still missing from this room. Some are my friends and coworkers. While their voices are missing, their stories and hopes are not. They are in this room with us and in the way that we move forward to better protect each other. I hope that we can continue working together to ensure that one day they can also confidently tell their own stories and share their own insights. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, we have Karina Marin coming up, and then I'll have Akhtar Sadiq and Bob Rakulia. up next. Is it on the agenda item?
I would say if you are speaking on it for any agenda item, it would be now is the time to speak regarding items on the agenda. Understood, but our agenda for anything, whether it's for immigration or for, ordinance 2530, the time to speak on those items would be now.
Thank you.
So, hi all, my name is Karina Marin. I have also been a resident for Morton Grove for the past 10 years. I spoke at the last village board meeting, so I'll keep this one brief. Similar to what my sister said, I'm thankful that you all are hearing what we're saying and, taking that into account into the actions that you're taking moving forward into this village. I do still think that there's a lot of things that I have questions around, things that are not clear, that I would like to see written into village code, things that I think should be a little bit more public into how these things are actually going to come into existence and how we're going to make sure that they are, that anything moving forward is going to be actually enforced, how it's going to be enforced, deadlines. I'm just asking for a little bit more transparency and ongoing conversations with us to ensure that we all know what's going on and that it's written and formalized into the written code for our village. So agree with everything that my sister said, and I'm hoping to see that work continue to move forward. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Akhtar?
Good evening, Honorable Mayor and respected trustees. From the agenda, it looks like you have worked very hard to listen to the community when they were here at the last board meeting. You heard about their asks, and you have put some in action on the agenda, your 6 items that you have mentioned in the update on immigration and enforcement activities in Morton Grove. However, just looking from outside, some of the concerns are not clear. And one is, and I hope it says, 1, no ICE detention without valid court order. The second, no ICE allowed on any of the village properties to do their activities. When our neighboring suburbs are so clear in this matter, why Morton Grove is shying away to have a clear policy or resolution. So I humbly request all of you to please look into that again, and hopefully you can respond just like to previous speakers asked. Hopefully you can come up with that answer also. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And we will be clarifying this as the meeting goes on. We'll be going through each item, just so you're aware. Let's also bring up Heather Frund and Jeremy Paston. But next we have, Sure. Come on up. Yeah.
Thank you so much. Hi. Thank you for this opportunity to speak. My name is Minal Giri. I am a pediatrician. I think it's important to share the deep impact of immigration enforcement on children and families with the village leaders and decision makers. As a pediatrician, I've spent my career caring for children from immigrant families, and what we are seeing right now is unprecedented. Children's medical care being disrupted as their parents are detained or deported by ICE. In the past few months, we've documented cases of parents being arrested or deported in the middle of their child's chemotherapy. And many of these children are U.S. citizens. Not that it should matter, but what these families are enduring is unfathomable. When a child's parent is seized by ICE, it ripples through every aspect of that child's life, impacting their security, safety, and well-being in the world. And for a sick child who depends on their caretaker for comfort, for hope, their entire care plan collapses, their worlds collapse. Medications go unfilled, transportation to the hospital disappears, insurance coverage lapses, and suddenly the caregiver and decision maker at their bedside is missing. And for a child with asthma or diabetes, that means an emergency admission. For a child with cancer, that can mean a lost chance at survival. And for the medically fragile children, those who need ventilators or feeding tubes to survive, it can mean the unthinkable, because without 2 trained caregivers to manage that equipment, interventions sometimes cannot continue, and families are forced to withdraw life-sustaining treatment. So that means that a child who could have lived may go home to die instead. Families are now afraid to even seek basic care, or even send their children to school, because they've seen the immigration agents in hospital parking lots and helicopters hovering over daycare centers and high schools for hours on end. One family was chased through the parking lot of a federally qualified center in Logan Square. A medical institution near the Broadview Detention Center routinely has shackled patients march through its doors, accompanied by armed, unidentified men with rifles, in our hospitals. And this is happening. So what happens then? Parents send their sick children to the emergency department alone. Hospitals and clinicians are now caring for children whose parents are absent. They are trying to discharge medically complex patients with no legal guardians available. They are worrying that calling a parent for consent could expose them to arrest. Hospitals are scrambling to find emergency guardians or ethics consultations instead of focusing on their jobs, healing sick children. Most devastatingly, children are dying in hospitals alone now. This is the human cost of the current enforcement environment. I think we should all be aware of what's happening to children. So this is not just an immigration issue. This is a public health emergency. These are our neighbors. These are our friends. These are our community members. When enforcement enters the spaces where children are supposed to feel safe, it undermines trust in healthcare itself. Public health depends on trust. When trust is broken, care gets delayed, diseases spread faster, and children get sicker. Families are now torn between safety and survival. When ICE is in our hospitals and communities, it makes us all less safe. Whatever the village can do to prevent the endangerment of children and families is greatly appreciated. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Heather Frund?
Good evening, members of the Village Board and Morton Grove community. My name is Heather Freund. I am a local preschool teacher and a lifelong member of Morton Grove community. I'm here tonight because I care deeply about the safety and well-being of the children and families I work with every day. In my classroom, I teach our youngest residents about trust, kindness, and the belief that adults around them are here to keep them safe. But when immigration and custom enforcement uses village properties for enforcement activities, that sense of safety is shaken, not only for immigrant families, but for all the children who see fear in their community. I'm asking the board to put clear laws and policies in place and to enforce them to prevent ICE from using village-owned spaces, equipment, or resources for immigration operations. Our public spaces should be a place where families feel welcome, not watched. Schools, parks, libraries, and municipal buildings must be a place of safe havens for learning, play, and connections. I recently had a coworker ask me and gave me papers to sign allowing me to take her child home from school because despite being a U.S. citizen, she is of Mexican descent and is forced to live in fear for the safety of herself and her families. This should not be the case. Some of the families I serve are mixed status households. Even the rumor of ICE activity near the village property can keep parents from bringing their children to school, to health appointments, or to community programs that help them thrive. This doesn't make our community safe. If anything, it makes it more fragile. By establishing firm local protections, you can send a clear message. Our village prioritizes the safety, dignity, and mental well-being of all families who call this place home. We have the opportunity, and I believe the responsibility, to create a community where children grow up believing that their leaders protect them, not frightened by them. I urge you to take action. Thank you for your time and for your commitment to the people of Morton Grove.
Thank you. Let me get a couple more, well, we have a big enough queue. Jeremy, oh, no, you're Bob.
Thank you, Mayor. My name is Bob Rakulia. I've been a resident of Morton Grove for 21 years. I want to say something about why I think it's really important that Morton Grove shows our immigrant neighbors our support in both symbolic and practical ways. Because Operation Midwest Blitz is creating a terrible atmosphere of fear and uncertainty. My wife Elaine and I have gotten to know a Venezuelan family that arrived here a little over 2 years ago. The parents and 2 young children were objects of violence in their home country. They filed a formal application for asylum. While their claim is being processed, they have a legal right to stay in the United States. Even so, because of the way the sweeps by ICE have been conducted, our Venezuelan friends are now afraid to leave their apartment. The husband and wife are no longer able to work for fear of being abducted. They have 2 boys who are really bright and who have done very well in their classwork. However, their parents are no longer sending them to school. The family is paralyzed by fear. Some of us have been helping them out with grocery shopping, etc., so that they don't have to go out. There are thousands of people in the Chicago area, including some in Morton Grove, whose lives are being similarly impacted. This is the atmosphere of fear and uncertainty that our neighbors are living through. I believe that they deserve the support of our village in every practical way that we can provide it. It's encouraging that the village board is considering the actions listed on today's agenda. I urge the mayor and trustees to act upon them. Thank you.
Thank you. Jeremy?
I spoke here at the past meeting, and I'm happy to see that there was a response to the community's pleas on that occasion. I want to reiterate that my concern, and I think the concern of a lot of people here, is not about the political issue of immigration, but really about the human rights concerns that we're seeing inherent in the methods of enforcement that are going on. I appreciate the village's actions that we are going to hear more about on the agenda later on regarding the placement of signage on village property, social worker assignment, the website, flyers, all of that. I echo some of the previous speakers' remarks about transparency, but I am concerned that, these may not go far enough. While Gregory Bovino's CBP team has left the Chicago area, they are expected to return in the spring of next year, and to do so with significant reinforcements. This is not the time to be complacent, but rather the time to take action. We've been given an opportunity to take stock of the situation and prepare for the future. There are several concrete actions that the village can undertake to help protect the residents. These include, but are not limited to, and in no particular order, providing no or low-cost resources to help community members at risk of deportation prepare emergency and safety plans, reaching out to and collaborating with local immigrant rights and social justice groups, connecting community members with resources for legal representation, including free or low-cost alternatives, providing trauma-informed care, counselors, social workers for children and families who may be impacted by a raid, implement clear internal staff protocols for reporting any federal immigration activity on village property and guide staff on appropriate responses, use flexible funding or specific funding sources to offer wraparound services to families affected by detention, such as emergency assistance, food, and grocery delivery. Create or enforce policies within all village departments that prohibit employees from inquiring about an individual's immigration or citizenship status when they seek services or interact with the local government. Require local law enforcement officers to clearly identify their jurisdiction, i.e. Morton Grove Police Department, when interacting with residents to avoid confusion with federal agents. Most of these items' cost is consumption-driven, so financial impact, if not utilized, will be minimal. If they are heavily utilized, it will demonstrate that they were needed by the community and have been worthwhile. I was disappointed to see that while there was an update on the agenda today, there were no related ordinance or resolution proposals. Not codifying these changes risks their removal without public knowledge or consent. Given the current national political climate, trust in governing organizations is abnormally low. Codifying these proposed changes, and the ones that I just outlined, would help the process of rebuilding that trust, of making sure that the residents of Morton Grove felt that their elected and unelected officials' first priority is their safety and security. This community is our home, and we should treat and care for every member of it as if they were our family. Thank you.
Thank you.
My name is Donna Schiller.
Okay.
Okay. My name is Donna Schiller. I've been a resident in Morton Grove for 40 years. And thank you for listening to our requests from the last meeting. I appreciate your response, especially about the immigration enforcement activities in our village and the concern for our safety. So, a story. A week before ICE began ravaging our streets, I stopped at a local cafe. A woman there was questioning the owner about his work status. I asked who she was, and she asked why I wanted to know. I told her that I frequented the place, and this is a place that I come to, and I respect the owner. And I thought she was harassing him. I asked where she worked, and she said the Cook County Department of Administration. She was dressed in capris and had flip-flops on, not very professional. So the business owner was quite rattled, as was I. The business owner said if it ever happened again, he would call the police and pass on the information. So that was the start. Then on another day, when ICE was really heavily into our neighborhoods, our landscapers were taken. They took the entire crew. The machinery was still running. The truck was still parked right there. The administration in Washington, D.C. is not concerned with legality or how family and friends are impacted by this horrendous activity. Who will they come for next? Will it be the Asians, Iranians, Moroccans? I feel safe because of the color of my skin, but I'm an advocate. But my neighbors are from Mexico, Central America, South America, and they rarely go out of their homes. And when they do, to walk their dog, they wear hoodies because they're afraid of being seen. So I don't think it's safe in Morton Grove with these bounty hunters roaming around with masks on, unidentified. I mean, they're just taking people off the street. So it matters a lot when my friends and neighbors are being kidnapped and harassed despite being U.S. citizens. It is very impactful when an entire crew of landscapers are kidnapped. It makes a big deal to me and other folks in Morton Grove that our village administration supports our rights. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Caroline, and I'm a resident of Morton Grove. I'm here tonight to comment on the agenda, and my comment is that this agenda and these meetings are a farce. These meetings violate the intent of the Open Meetings Act, the law that says the government needs to deliberate and make decisions in open public meetings. 2 weeks ago, I listened to the village administrator lecture the audience about what the Illinois Trust Act says just after listening to trustees talk about religion and their pet projects in lieu of reports and skim over changes to policies and ordinances that will affect all residents. To have a first reading of an ordinance change, you have to actually read the policy. But what it says now, both what it says now and how you propose to change it. When I looked up the minutes from that meeting, you printed residents' addresses, but failed to list the ways in which these ordinances would change. How does that work? Further, while I applaud President Whitco in taking action to implement signage and make changes in response to my friends' and neighbors' requests 2 weeks ago to protect our community against immigration and customs enforcement, I'll remind you again that these decisions and deliberations must be made in open meetings. President Whitco, when I met you on the campaign trail, you said you were proud of the transparency you brought to the village. Nothing in these meetings is transparent or reflects good governance. Do better.
Okay, Lisa Kabir.
My time didn't start yet, did it?
I will
Okay, thank you.
You got it.
I want to start off with Chuck, thank you for your message. I plan on meeting with you with some other community members to discuss police actions and activity. Good evening, Mayor and trustees. Thank you for listening and taking some steps to help protect our communities from the unlawful and terrorizing federal agent descent on our village. While there is not a lot we can do, there are concrete actions that we can and should take. I am disappointed by the lack of response from our police department when armed and unidentified individuals are roaming our streets. The truth is, we cannot assume that these are federal agents. Anyone who purchases fatigues on Amazon and can get their hands on weapons can abduct people from our streets. Often their vehicle plates do not match the vehicle they are driving, and they carelessly speed through our streets. We do not know who they are. Multiple community members have called 911 asking for assistance in verifying these unidentified individuals and responding to chaotic scenes. Our police department has denied such requests, stating there is nothing we can do. I personally stopped and asked a police officer what happens if a license plate does not match the vehicle being driven around Morton Grove. I requested that the plate be run in the system to verify it belongs to the vehicle. This vehicle was driving around my neighborhood for hours, followed by a caravan of rapid responders. The police officer said someone has already been dispatched to the area. Nobody showed up. She could have responded with a suggestion of where I could get more information instead of brushing me off while she sat in a parking lot chatting with another police officer. Some suggestions would be to follow the protocol of the Evanston Police Department and more. 1, respond to calls regarding unmarked vehicles with armed individuals. 2, when responding to such calls by distressed community members, identify who is operating the vehicle and demand proof that they are federal agents. 3, send a supervisor to such scenes. 4, record interactions with body cams and keep written records. 5, develop a database of confirmed sightings, observed use of force, if any. Document chemical agent use, number of detained individuals, including their names, ages, race, etc. 6, document demographics of individuals being stopped and questioned, including race, age, etc. As we know, race appears to be the only probable cause for questioning individuals. 7, keep diligent records of names of agents, badge numbers, and vehicle information. These should also be reported to the state, as it is quite likely these will all end up in the court system in the future. 8, protect the community they are serving with dignity and empathy. Additionally, ICE appears to be using abandoned property parking lots for their work. They use the abandoned property next to Aldi on Oakton through an open gate, public school parking lots while students were in session, the forest preserves and halls rental, as well as other places for staging. It is imperative that the property owners are diligent about upkeep of their properties, including locking gates and monitoring their properties for any activity. We must keep property owners accountable for keeping their property safe and maintained in our neighborhoods. We can and should do better.
Thank you, Lisa. Manal Giri, did you already speak? I have was that the doctor that spoke? Okay, I want to make sure we got that. And Mary, do you want to speak now or after? Okay.
I want to thank the village president, trustees, corporation council, and staff for responding so quickly and comprehensively to our appeals for action. We appreciate your reflective listening and deep understanding about the importance of village action, considering the recent flagrant and unlawful civil immigration enforcement in our village and surrounding communities. As we all, as a community, try to pick up the pieces for those children and families indiscriminately and forever impacted. We are especially grateful, and whether it is stated in the President's report or in the village website, that the village will post signage on village-owned properties, apply the Trust Act to village employees, the police will respond and document federal incidents when these occur in Morton Grove, and we hope that the police will also report the conduct of federal agents where warranted to the Illinois Accountability Commission. Since no village resolution, ordinance, or executive order appears to be forthcoming, what will be the mechanism to hold the village accountable for its promises not yet implemented? Will there be written directives, policies, and procedures to police and other village staff that will be shared with residents that reflect these promises? What is the timeline? Will the signage posted provide sufficient notice to federal agents that civil immigration enforcement is banned from village property? The words on the signs must be unambiguous and purposeful. Will the village identify the properties it owns and share when and where signage has been posted? How will we know whether and where Morton Grove Police have responded to immigration enforcement incidents, and which incidents, if any, have been documented and reported to the Illinois Accountability Commission? We look forward to updates at future board meetings reflecting the data and other information we need as assurances from our local government, such as what Lisa was addressing in terms of data and databases. Thank you again for all your serious undertakings and efforts over the last several weeks. We look forward to a continuing dialogue with you as circumstances evolve. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That's all the forms I have, but I know we ran out. Does anybody else want to speak on the agenda item? Sir?
Good evening, everyone. I appreciate the opportunity you've given us to speak here tonight. My name is Saad Qadri. I serve as an educator at MCC Academy as well as the scholar in residence there. I'm also a resident here in Morton Grove. I just want to echo everything the deacon said when he first spoke, and along with that, just mention 3 quick points. The first point is faith-based leaders often are as confused as their congregation as how to respond to many of these situations. We would love direct communication in order to inform us how to bring calm and peace in this time of chaos. How that would be done, I'm not exactly sure. But our doors are open, our phone lines are available, and we'd love to have some communication through whatever liaison is available to help us advise our congregants in these difficult times. Secondly, we have a great relationship with the Morton Grove Police Department at our school. However, the community that I serve, and other people can probably echo the sentiment as well, many of the members of our communities are from areas overseas where you see a badge, you run the other way. Oftentimes, crimes are determined based upon a person's status, not upon a person's action, and a person can be imprisoned or leave prison just by their value within society. It's taken a long time for us to trust law enforcement just because of the baggage that comes from back home. The last thing we want to do is to see this become ambiguous again. Thus, for our immigration enforcement activity with the police department in particular, we would like to see some concrete way where our students and our parents and our families can differentiate between federal agents and our local police departments and our local law enforcement. Finally, on a jog, maybe 3.5, 4 weeks ago, after the morning prayers, as I was going up Central past Dempster, I had a very nice gentleman pull his truck up to me, encouraging me to keep running because ICE will come and get me. It is what it is, and I smile at these things because it gives me an opportunity to also hopefully show some prophetic practice. Long story short, if this is what our children and our community members will be exposed to, they'll have the wrong image of Morton Grove. Thus, everything that's been said before, I want to echo that sentiment, but I cannot do better than what the people have done, so I just ask that you please consider everything being said. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anybody else? Okay, hearing none, I'm going to move on to turn off my mic. Move on to the president's report. The first item, I am asking for the village board to approve the appointment of Jenny Cleary to the village's Traffic Safety Commission. Jenny currently serves on the village's Environmental and Natural Resources Commission and would be transferring to the Traffic Safety Commission. So with that, I ask for a motion to nominate Jenny Cleary.
I'll make the motion to nominate Jenny Cleary.
Second.
Motion made by trustee Travis, seconded by trustee White. Any questions or comments? Hearing none, please call the vote.
Trustee Khan?
Aye.
Trustee Minks?
Aye.
Trustee Sheba?
Aye.
Trustee Travis?
Aye.
Trustee White?
Aye.
Thank you. And thank you, Jenny, for your continued support of the village and doing even more. So we appreciate that. Thank you. Okay, so I'm going to give the overview of the update on immigration enforcement activities in our plan, and then the details are going to come from both Chuck Meyer, our village administrator, and our police chief, Chief Weitzel. So first, I just want to say, here's my plan here. So as you know, we are going to place signage on village property requiring the parking for the village in compliance with the Illinois Trust Act. More detail will come from Chuck. We also created a village webpage for immigration enforcement information. We are distributing a resource flyer. We will do that with houses of worship and other local places where people might actually be more connected than just the village. And then we'll also require the staff to follow the Illinois Trust Act, and we'll be getting an overview of the police department activities and the Illinois Trust Act. Also, I wrote letters to our U.S. Officials asking them, our Congresswoman Jan Schakowsky, Senators Durbin and Duckworth, asking for them to do what they can on their front since they have a lot more sway with the federal government than we do. I did receive a letter back from Jan Schakowsky, if anyone's interested in reading it, just to show that we're actually trying to use our position to, get some relief here. But what I'm most proud of, and this actually speaks to the people that Jenny Marin so eloquently pointed out, people that can't be here, people that are scared to be here, that people that are truly in need of resources. We are designating our social worker a private confidential line. Anybody that needs to reach out, that can't leave their home, that has any issue, any questions, police won't be involved, it will be straight to the social worker. They can call the number, and is the number in here? Give me one sec. Chuck, do you have that?
I do.
I've got it. Sorry. That number is 847-663-3072. So that is 847-663-3072. If you're watching from home, if you feel like you can't leave, if you need resources, this is a confidential resource. She will help you, and that number is strictly for that. So with that, Chuck, would you give some more background on everything else?
Absolutely. Thank you, Mayor Whitco, the board, and everyone in attendance. And I do want to, as we go through these are items that the village has actually already taken action on. And so we're able to report these are the steps we have taken. And thank you, everyone, for your feedback, because I wrote some notes down, too, to make sure as we go through these things where we can, I've added to it to make sure we address the questions. So the first item is the placement of signage on village property requiring parking for village business only in compliance with the Illinois Trust Act. So in line with the Illinois Trust Act, the village is in the process of procuring in signs that demarcate village property and notify the public and other organizations that they are on village property, and that these signs affirm that the parking lots, village property, would only be used for village business in line with state and local laws. These signs have been ordered or are being ordered shortly and will be installed next month. These signs are going to go up at Village Hall, the police department, which is this campus, our public works facilities, and the fire department already has signs demarcating their property for that. So we have taken that step. It is in progress now, so we should have signs up, I would anticipate, before the end of the year that, based on feedback we received, will demarcate the village's property and put people on notice that they can only use the property in line with state laws and local laws. The mayor already addressed the social worker, but it is a confidential resource for our residents impacted by immigration enforcement. This is a directive from our mayor that makes sure that there's a confidential resource available to our residents or those in the area impacted by immigration enforcement. And as the mayor highlighted, that's Liz Shield, and her phone number is 847-663-3072.
Can you guys hear him clearly? Okay.
Thank you. I will. So it sounds like most people have already seen our website, but we have created a website following the feedback we received from residents. This is to be a resource for the public to let them know what resources are available for them. We've taken a lot of guidance from our neighboring communities and wanted to provide those resources and information for those in need, understanding their rights, and to connect them with those resources. So I know some people brought up very good points about low-cost resources or other ways that if someone is in need, they can receive assistance. This webpage provides that. And as part of that, we have the flyer the mayor mentioned, which is available at the bottom of this webpage. It's a 2-page flyer that we plan to distribute to houses of worship and other institutions that maybe the immigrant community is more likely to reach out to than the village. So that way they are able to be aware of what rights they have and know what resources are available to them from the village. And then the last item that I'll be discussing before I turn it over to the chief is the requirement of all staff to follow the Illinois Trust Act. So as most people in this room know and those at home, the Illinois Trust Act was intended for law enforcement personnel to give them guidance in regards to immigration enforcement. As of last week, we've mandated that all staff are covered by the Illinois Trust Act by village policy, and as such, that means that all staff are held at the same standards as police and ensure that all staff make sure that they treat people fairly and do not discriminate services or ask questions regarding someone's immigration status, and that the entire public is has equal access to our village services. So to a question that was raised earlier, by village policy, all employees are required to follow the Illinois Trust Act and held to the same standards in regards to police, in regards to providing services to the public. And with that, I will turn it over to our chief.
I do want to ask one thing. I'm getting a question. That comes in other languages, correct?
And to answer the question for those at home or in the audience that are interested, this entire page can be translated by using the feature on the top right, which will translate the language on our website to the appropriate language that you're looking for.
Thank you.
See if Assyrian's on there.
Chief?
Good evening, Madam Mayor. Thanks for the opportunity to speak before the village board. You know, I look around the room here, and I'm encouraged by so many folks who are here tonight engaged in our civic process. There's a lot of people in this room that know me. I've had a lot of conversations with various people in this room on a myriad of topics, but to include things related to immigration enforcement. And I'm not going to point people out, but there's 3 or 4 folks in the room who I've had lengthy conversations with on this topic, and those conversations were very fruitful and productive. So, for those of you who don't know me, my name is Mike Weitzel. I'm the Chief of Police in Morton Grove. I've been with the Village of Morton Grove for 26 years, and I'm very proud of our police department. I did address the village board on this very topic several months ago, and there were slightly less folks here at that time, but what I will say tonight is very consistent with those earlier remarks. For nearly a decade, the Morton Grove Police Department has maintained the same approach that it currently has to immigration-related matters. In 2016, prior to the implementation of the Illinois Trust Act, we published Policy 428 of the Morton Grove Police Department Policy Manual, which pertains to immigration violations. That policy made clear that MGPD does not enforce civil immigration law and that people must feel safe reporting crime regardless of immigration status. That policy was reaffirmed in updated versions in 2017, 2022, and again in 2024. In 2017, as I referenced, the state of Illinois did pass the Illinois Trust Act, which completely prohibits local police departments from participating in federal civil immigration enforcement, prohibits detaining anyone on the basis of an immigration detainer or an administrative warrant, and prohibits giving federal immigration agents access to individuals in custody unless there's a federal criminal warrant. MGP had already been operating under those principles before the state required it. In 2021, the Way Forward Act strengthened those protections, added reporting requirements for municipal police departments, and outlined obligations regarding U visas and T visa certifications for victims of violent crimes and human trafficking. We incorporated those requirements into our most recent policy updates. Throughout this entire period, MGPD has routinely distributed the Attorney General's guidance on immigration and law enforcement to our personnel, and we regularly train on Policy 428 to make sure every member of this department understands the law and our obligations. With this timeline, I do think it's important to note that on November 3rd of this year, the Village of Morton Grove published a community letter from Mayor Whitko reaffirming what has been true for years. The village and the Morton Grove Police Department do not participate in immigration enforcement. We do not ask people about their immigration status except in very specific circumstances where it is actually required by law. And we follow the Trust Act and related statutes. We maintain constant communication with village leadership, the village administrator's office, the village board, the village president, to ensure our practices, policies, and public messaging remain aligned. The principle behind all of this is very simple. We enforce Illinois criminal laws. We do not enforce federal civil immigration laws. Public safety depends on people feeling safe calling the police, reporting crimes, cooperating with investigations, and seeking help when they need it. This has been our position for many, many years, and it remains our position today. Thank you.
Thank you, Chief.
Thank you.
All right. That said, we will move on to the clerk's report. Are you going to give a report for that?
No report, Your Honor.
Okay, staff report. Now you can be village administrator.
So the first item I have for my report is Ordinance 2530, which was introduced at the last meeting. So this will be a second reading, and this amends, or is amending Title I, Administrative Section 19B1, entitled Sale of Surplus Property, Title 8, Public Health and Safety, Sections 811.1, entitled Definitions and Exclusions, and 811.2, entitled Permit Required, and deleting Section 4-10-1 of Title 5 Motor Vehicle and Traffic of the Village of Morton Grove Municipal Code. The point of this ordinance will be to clean up the code related to surplus, to add some language related to special events and motor vehicles. And with that, I'm available to answer any questions, but our recommendation be approve as presented.
Can I get a motion?
Motion to approve ordinance 2530.
I'll second that.
Motion made by trustee Mink, seconded by trustee Sheba. Any questions? Hearing none, please call the vote.
Trustee Khan?
Aye.
Trustee Minks?
Aye.
Trustee Sheba?
Aye.
Trustee Travis?
Aye.
Trustee White?
Aye.
With that, the motion passes for ordinance 2530, Your Honor. Next item is ordinance 2533, which is also up for a second reading. And this one is titled Amending Title 4, entitled Business Regulations, Chapter 6, Article D, entitled Liquor Control, and Title 1, entitled Administrative, Chapter 11, entitled Fees, Section 4, entitled Fees for Specific Permits, Licenses, Certificates, and Fees of the Municipal Code of the Village of Morton Grove. This is a update regarding liquor license and regulations for the various licenses that we have within the village, and the special events and ancillary uses. The one modification that we made to the ordinance from the last meeting to this was we updated the fees for video gaming. It now is $750 per machine per year, and this is in line with neighboring communities, and that would take effect for any new licenses or renewals after 1/1/2026, as we've already issued the renewals for next year. And with that, I'm available to answer any questions.
Can I get a motion?
Motion to approve ordinance 2533.
I'll second.
Okay, motion made by trustee Mink, seconded by trustee Sheba. Any questions? Hearing none, please call the vote.
Trustee Khan?
Aye.
Trustee Minks?
Aye.
Trustee Sheba?
Aye.
Trustee Travis?
Aye.
Trustee White?
Aye.
Ordinance 2533 passes, Your Honor.
Thank you.
And the next item I have is Resolution 2577, which is fixing the time and place for a public hearing to consider the approval of a redevelopment plan and project for Dempster Street redevelopment project area and the adoption of tax increment allocation financing therefore, and convening a joint review board. And for this item, I will read the legislative summary as it does have important information. So.
It's a resolution.
As background, the Dempster Street from Central Avenue to the Forest Reserve District property has not been subject to maximum growth and development through investment by private enterprise, and is not reasonably anticipated to continue to produce property taxes at the same level as it previously had without certain public assistance by the village. The village is considering designating this area as a redevelopment project area or TIF district as contemplated by 65 ILS 511 74.4-1 for the TIF Act. This resolution will authorize the convening of a joint review board meeting on December 16th, 2025 at 3 p.m. at Village Hall, and will set January 27th, 2026 at 6 p.m. at Village Hall as the time and place for a public hearing to consider the establishment of the Dempster Street TIF district. The village will provide notice of the public hearing and in the January 8th, 2026 and January 15th, 2026 editions of the Morton Grove Champion as required by law. And with this, I would make a request that this motion be, or that a motion be made to approve this resolution as presented.
I'll make a motion that we accept Resolution 25-77 as
Second.
presented.
Motion made by trustee Travis, seconded by trustee White. Any questions, comments? Hearing none, please call the vote.
Trustee Khan?
Aye.
Trustee Minks?
Aye.
Trustee Sheba?
Aye.
Trustee Travis?
Aye.
Trustee White?
Aye.
Resolution 2577 passes, Your Honor. And the last item, formal item I have on the agenda is a first reading for ordinance 2538, which is being introduced tonight and is amending Title I, Chapter 11, Section 4, entitled Fees for Specific Permits, Licenses, Certificates, and Services of the Municipal Code of the Village of Morton Grove to update the ambulance transport fees. So the village routinely, as part of the budget process, will review certain fees and make sure that we are, one, covering our costs and aligning with other communities. The only item that we are presenting for consideration tonight is a modification of the ambulance transport fee. So this would be increasing the fee to $2,500, which is actually in line with the GMNT standard, which is what is used for, I believe, Medicaid reimbursement and is used widely by other communities. So this just brings us on par with other communities in line with that standard. Once again, this is just for a first reading, and it would be formally considered at the next meeting in December. And with that, I'm available to answer any questions.
Any questions? Okay.
And the last item I will just say is that in honor of Thanksgiving, the village's administrative offices will be closed on Thursday and Friday of this week. And with that, I conclude my report, Your Honor.
Thank you. Corporation Counsel? Reports by trustees, and I do want to remind us that we should be reading the legislative summary, especially on a first read. So, trustee Khan?
Thank you, Your Honor. I have a second read for ordinance 25-31, and that is an ordinance adopting the budgets for all corporate purposes of the Village of Morton Grove and the Morton Grove Library, Cook County, Illinois, for the calendar year effective January 1st, 2026 and ending December 31st, 2026. The budget was presented at the village workshops held on October 21st and 22nd and a public hearing on the budget was held on November 25, 2025. Public notice of the hearing was published in the Chicago Tribune local newspaper on November 13, 2025, and the budget has been available for inspection at the office of the village administrator, the public library, and posted on the village's website since at least November 3rd, 2025. And I hereby make a motion to accept this ordinance 25-31 as presented tonight.
Second.
Motion made by trustee Khan, seconded by trustee Minks. Any questions or comments? Hearing none, please call the vote.
Trustee Khan?
Aye.
Trustee Minks?
Aye.
Trustee Sheba?
Aye.
Trustee Travis?
Aye.
Trustee White?
Aye.
Ordinance 2531 passes, Your Honor.
Thank you.
I have a second read for ordinance 25-32, and this is an ordinance levying and assessing taxes for the village of Morton Grove, Cook County, Illinois, for 2025 to be collected in the fiscal year beginning January 1st, 2026, and ending December 31st, 2026. Pursuant to ordinance 25-31, the amount necessary to be levied for 2025 property taxes is $12,660,061 for village operational expenses, $657,963 for village debt service, and $4,045,637 for the library. This will result in a levy of $13,318,024 for the village and $4,045,637 for the library, for a total levy of $17,363,661. The effective result is a 4.33% increase in the village's portion of the tax levy and a 3.5% increase in the library's portion of the tax levy, resulting in an overall increase of 4.14% from the final extended tax levy from the previous year. And I make a motion to approve the ordinance 25-32 as presented.
Second.
Motion made by trustee Khan, seconded by trustee Minks. Any questions, comments? Hearing none.
Trustee Khan?
Aye.
Trustee Minks?
Aye.
Trustee Sheba?
Aye.
Trustee Travis?
Aye.
Trustee White?
Aye.
Ordinance 2532 passes, Your Honor.
Thank you.
My last report is on ordinance 25-37, which is the first read and is introduced tonight, November 25th, 2025. And this is authorizing an amendment to the Village of Morton Grove 2025 adopted budget. And there's not going to be any voting on this.
No, would you mind reading the legislative
Sure.
summary?
I believe, Chuck, do you mind helping with the legislative summary on this ordinance?
Yeah, give me one moment. I will read it from my computer for you.
Thank you, Chuck.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I'm looking for the report.
Sorry, it's loading.
I can do it. Somebody.
Okay, so the purpose is to amend the adopted 2025 budget to include the expenditure for architectural fees for the new Village Hall and Police Station and to take advantage of grant funds for additional parkway trees. So pursuant to ordinance 24-21, the budget for calendar year 2025 was adopted by the Board of Trustees on November 27, 2024. The budget represents an estimate of revenues available and recommended expenditures for the village. Title I, Chapter 9D, Section 6 of the Municipal Code allows the adopted budget to be amended by a vote of 2/3 of the corporate authorities. The village purchased property for the new Village Hall and Police Station after the 2025 budget was passed. Architectural services were needed to draft plans for the remodel and in addition to the new village facilities. These costs were dependent on the purchase of the property, which was not certain at the time the budget was passed. The village was also has become aware of grant opportunities to reimburse the village for the purchase of additional parkway trees. This ordinance will approve an amendment to the 2025 adopted budget to reflect these 2025 expenditures. So this is a first read.
Thank you.
Of course.
And that officially ends my report.
Thank you. Trustee Minks?
Thank you, Your Honor. I have no official report this evening. However, as the liaison to the Special Events Commission, I wanted everybody to mark their calendars for Saturday, December 6th, as we hold our annual Santa Claus Comes to Town event. Santa will begin his tour of the village at Greenwood and Waukegan at 11 a.m. and will end at Main Street and Austin Avenue between 1:15 and 1:30 p.m. Santa will then reappear at the Prairie View Community Center to provide gifts to kids who receive specially marked candy until 3:30 p.m. Please visit the website to see the Santa tracker to see where Santa is along the parade route. Also, as the liaison, I wanted to thank all the community volunteers who helped with the stickers on over 5,000 lollipops that will be given out during the event. Thank you to Angela Jovanen, Faye Hosini, Fumi Aikita, Jane and Nathan Vititis, Maria Campanella, Mary and Rich Sanowski, Nina Virtuoso, and my husband, Paul. Paul and I helped sit with some of these ladies and gentlemen to put the stickers on. So we thank you all. And for the end of my report, I just wanted to wish everybody a happy Thanksgiving. Thank you.
Thank you. Trustee Sheba?
Nothing formal, Your Honor. Just wanted to thank everyone that attended the Pumpkin Smash recently. Earlier this month, the village held its annual Pumpkin Smash in Harrow Park. 2025 was our best year yet, with a total of 4.64 tons of material collected and almost as many pumpkins as last year. This helps keep a compostable waste out of our garbage streams and continues to make Morton Grove more sustainable. That's the end of my report. Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. And Trustee Minks, will you be doing Trustee Thill's reports? You're on.
Hey, I'm subbing in for Trustee Thill this evening, who is not here. He had 3 resolutions this evening. The first one is Resolution 2578. This is authorizing renewals of the exclusive franchise agreement with Waste Not, Inc. for food scrap composting services in the village of Morton Grove. A little background. In 2023, the village solicited proposals for year-round food scrap collection services and received 2 proposals. After reviewing these proposals, village pursuant to Resolution 2346 entered into a 2-year food agreement which provides the exclusive franchise for collection of food services for village residents from Waste Not, Inc., and a winter gap program during that period at no cost to the village. This agreement also provides that it could be renewed at the sole option of the village annually for up to 5 additional years. This resolution shall authorize the village administrator to enter into a 1-year renewal of the agreement for the period from January 1, 2026 through December 31st, 2026. And if the village administrator deems it in the village's best interest, based on then existing circumstance, to authorize the village administrator to approve 4 subsequent 1-year renewals for 2027, 2028, 2029, and 2030. This program will have no cost to the village. I move that we approve Resolution 2578 as presented.
Second.
Oh, sorry. Motion made by Trustee Minks, seconded by Trustee Travis. Any questions or comments? Hearing none, please call the vote.
Trustee Khan?
Aye.
Trustee Minks?
Aye.
Trustee Sheba?
Aye.
Trustee Travis?
Aye.
Trustee White?
Aye.
Resolution 2570 passes, Your Honor.
Okay, and then we have Resolution 2579, authorizing the acceptance of material proposal from Cargill Incorporated of North Olmsted, Ohio for the 2026 Road Rock Salt Purchasing Program. Some background. The village has an annual program to purchase road salt for the winter snow and ice season. Rock salt is used to keep the village maintained streets, parking lots, and facilities safe during the winter snow and ice. The purchase of this material is paid for using the Motor Fuel Tax Fund, or the MFT funds. The state of Illinois administratively controls the use of the MFT funds, and the bidding procedures and contract documents are required to conform to state requirements for these amounts. This contract was awarded through a public bidding process in accordance with the Village of Morton Grove's Municipal Code and the Illinois Department of Transportation requirements. The contract was advertised and 3 sealed bids were received. The low bid was submitted by Cargill Incorporated of North Olmsted, Ohio, and the bid amount was $257,610 for 3,000 tons of rock salt. The village included terms in the contract documents to provide an option to purchase between 40 and 120% of the 3,000-ton contract quantity. This resolution will approve a contract with Cargill Incorporated for the 2026 Road Salt Rock Purchasing Program not to exceed $309,132. I move that we approve Resolution 2579 as presented.
Second. Motion made by trustee Mink, seconded by trustee Travis. Questions or comments? Hearing none, please call a vote.
Trustee Khan?
Aye.
Trustee Minks?
Aye.
Trustee Sheba?
Aye.
Trustee Travis?
Aye.
Trustee White?
Aye.
Resolution 2579 passes, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Okay, and then the final resolution this evening for trustee Thill is Resolution 2580, which is authorizing a contract extension with Al Warren Oil Company, Inc. for the purchase of gasoline and diesel fuel. Some background on this one. As a member of the Northwest Municipal Conference, the village participates in the joint purchasing program offered by the Suburban Purchasing Cooperative, where gasoline and diesel fuel are competitively billed to reduce costs for multiple communities. The contract gave the Suburban Purchasing Cooperative the right to extend the current contract for 3 additional one-year periods under the same terms and conditions as the original contract from June of 2024. In May of 2025, the Suburban Purchasing Contract extended contract number 2030 through July 5th of 2026. This resolution will authorize the village administrator to extend this contract for gasoline and diesel fuel from Al Warren Oil Company, Inc. through July 1st, 2026. If the Suburban Purchasing Cooperative extends contract number 230, and if the village administrator deems then existing circumstances to warrant the extension, the village administrator is authorized to extend the contract through July 5th, 2028. Approximate fiscal impact is $85,475. I move that we approve Resolution 2580 as presented.
Second.
I'm going to give that one to trustee Sheba. Motion made by trustee Mink, seconded by trustee Sheba. Any questions or comments? Hearing none, please call the vote.
Trustee Khan?
Aye.
Trustee Minks?
Aye.
Trustee Sheba?
Aye.
Trustee Travis?
Aye.
Trustee White?
Aye.
And then, just as a follow-up, the Fall Leaf Program will be wrapping up on Monday, December 1st. The village's Fall Leaf Program is for leaf pickup only. All other landscape materials, including glass clippings, bushes, tree branches, and flowers, will not be picked up. Leaves should be in the street by the curb and away from parked cars the day before the regularly scheduled street sweeping day. And that is the end of John Thill's report. Thank you.
And I do want to confirm, Resolution 2580 was passed, Your Honor.
Oh, thank you.
Sorry about that.
And is that the correct day for the leaf pickup, Mike?
So it was changed December 6th then.
Okay, so December 6th will be the last day.
December 6th,
For the
okay.
leaf. Okay, just want to clarify that. Is that everything?
That is everything. Thank
All
you.
right, trustee Travis.
I have no formal report, but I wanted to wish everyone a happy Thanksgiving with family and friends, filled with meaningful connections and time to reflect on all you're grateful for. So thank you.
Thank you, trustee White.
Yes, Your Honor, I have three ordinance that are a second read tonight. The first one is ordinance 25-34, which was introduced on November 12th. Again, this is the second reading. This is approving a special use permit for the mixed-use development on the property commonly known as 6222 Lincoln Avenue and 8503 to 8509 Fernald Avenue in Morton Grove. A little background on this. This went through the Traffic and Safety Commission, the Appearance Commission, and the Planning Commission. All were approved back in October. The applicant is planning enhancements to the building's facades and will construct off-street parking and landscape screening on premises, which will improve the property beyond its original condition. The applicant is planning to improve the unpaved area to the east of the principal structure with 5 off-street parking spaces, requiring a waiver of 9 parking spaces to the minimum code requirement. Each apartment will be assigned 1 parking space. On October 2nd, 2025, the Traffic and Safety Commission reviewed the application, and on October 7th, 2025, the Appearance Commission also reviewed the application and with conditions. On October 21st, the applicant appeared before the Planning Commission. The Planning Commission voted unanimously 5-0 to recommend approval of the special use permit with conditions relating to building and site construction schedule, signage, lighting, and snow removal. I move to accept resolution number 25-34 as presented.
Second.
Motion made by trustee White, seconded by trustee Minks. Any questions or comments? Hearing none, please call the vote.
Trustee Khan?
Aye.
Trustee Minks?
Aye.
Trustee Sheba? Trustee Travis?
Aye.
Trustee White?
Aye.
Ordinance 2534 passes, Your Honor.
Okay, ordinance 25-35, which was also introduced on November 12th, 2025. This is a second reading. This is approving a minor amendment to ordinance 24-19, granting a special use permit for an automobile mini-mart station at 6335 Dempster Street in Morton Grove. A little background on this is it also went through the Traffic and Safety Commission, the Appearance Commission, and the Planning Commission. On October 22nd of 24, the Village Board approved a special use permit for this automobile mini-mart station at 6335 Dempster Street. On October 21st, 2025, the owner or the applicant requested an additional 12-month extension to October 22nd of 2026 to allow additional time to obtain all the necessary permits to begin construction. Since the proposed amendment would not change any aspect of the approved use of the plan, the proposed request for an extension is eligible for approval as a minor amendment to ordinance 23-18. I move to accept resolution 2535 as presented.
Second.
Motion made by trustee White, seconded by trustee Sheba. Questions or comments? Hearing none, please call the vote.
Trustee Khan?
Aye.
Trustee Minks?
Aye.
Trustee Sheba?
Aye.
Trustee Travis?
Aye.
Trustee White?
Aye.
Ordinance 2535 passes, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Okay, and my last ordinance is ordinance 25-36, also introduced on November 12th. This is the second reading. This is approving a final plat of subdivision and accepting certain improvements for the Park Villas Townhomes subdivision located on property commonly known as 8721 Narragansett and 8720 to 8726 Ferris Avenue, and a 1,121 square foot portion of public alley right-of-way petitioned for vacation in Morton Grove. Little background on this. On May 23rd, 2022, the Village Board of Trustees passed Ordinance 22-07 for approving for the subject property as a special use permit. Developer has completed site improvements required by Ordinance 22-07. The village engineer has provided a certificate of conformance for the development's required improvements, and the board upon village approval for the final plat of subdivision, the plat and declaration will be recorded with the Cook County Clerk, and the Department of Building and Inspectional Services will be able to issue certificates of occupancy for the completed townhome units that pass required final inspections. I move to accept Resolution 2536 as presented.
Second?
Motion made by trustee White, seconded by trustee Travis. Any questions or comments? Hearing none, please call the vote.
Trustee Khan?
Aye.
Trustee Minks?
Aye.
Trustee Sheba?
Aye.
Trustee Travis?
Aye.
Trustee White?
Aye.
Ordinance 2536 passes, Your Honor.
And last, I'd like to extend a great Thanksgiving for everybody, and may everybody be healthy. Thank you.
Thank you. Presentation of warrants, trustee Khan?
Thank you, Your Honor. I'd like to present a warrant register for November 25, 2025 in the amount of $952,202.18. And I make a motion to approve the warrant register as presented.
Second.
Motion made by trustee Khan, seconded by trustee Sheba. Any questions, comments? Hearing none, please call the vote.
Trustee Khan?
Aye.
Trustee Minks?
Aye.
Trustee Sheba?
Aye.
Trustee Travis?
Aye.
Trustee White?
Aye.
Warrant list is passed as presented, Your Honor.
Thank you. Any other business at this time? Okay. Residents' comments not on agenda items. I have two speakers here. I have Michael Baker. Come on up.
Thank you, Mayor and Trustees. A few months ago, I was made aware that the Forest Preserve was going to put up a concrete barrier on the west side of my property, which is shared with the Forest Preserve, but it blocks off access to my garage. And the reason that they are doing this is to stop traffic from going through from Elm side to the main side. And they've already put up two barriers that do this, that stop that. And they want me to put a driveway on the east side of the property, but there's not enough room. And there's also children, toddlers, infants that live in one of the units there that if they were ever to come up and there was a driveway there, they could be put in grave danger. So I'm hoping that what can happen is the easement can be granted back to my title as it was for the past 100 years for the past owner. And we can keep using the road and not parking on it and just using it to access the garage. So that's what I'm here to do. I'm just asking that can be done.
I would direct you to Chuck maybe after the meeting so we can get your contact information and dig in a little bit.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. And Jeff Kusar.
Thank you, Madam President. I'm here in support of my neighbor and basically.
So we'll just mark you as support of the neighbor. Okay. Anybody else have anything not on agenda items? Okay, hearing none. Can I get a motion to adjourn?
I'd like to make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Motion made by trustee Sheba, seconded by trustee Minks. All in favor?
Aye.
Meeting ends at 8:33. Thank you. Thank you, everybody. Happy Thanksgiving to everybody.